Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to the Positively Real podcast. I have an important episode for you because if you're like me this past couple of weeks, you might have not felt super safe. And what I mean by that is in your body. Now, you might not connect with the word safety, but it might even feel like you don't feel grounded. And there's a lot going on in our world, and there is a global crisis, a humanitarian crisis. It has been a lot to all of our nervous systems. And if you listen to my podcast episode from a couple of weeks ago, I really focused on taking care of yourself while staying informed. And this is really important because you cannot do anything, you cannot take action, you cannot support or help if you are dysregulated. And dysregulation is essentially when your nervous system is out of whack. It's not in alignment. It's either in a state of heightened awareness where you have all of this fight or flight energy, all of this sympathetic energy that's getting you ready to either fight or flee, or you're in this shutdown state where it's just been so much to your nervous system that you just can't. You like can't get out of bed. It's just all really heavy and it's too much. So what I want to talk about today is creating safety. And this is really important. And I'll share a story about how I'm using it. Um, Kind of a couple days after the um, Hamas attacked Israel, I was by myself. Brian was out of town and I was on edge. I was consuming way too much. I saw very violent images. That's just our nervous systems are not meant to see all of this violence and brutality, and it's just been a lot. And I could feel my nervous system was on edge. You can just tell when your system is overloaded. And the challenge that we run into is our brain doesn't know the difference between like what's actually happening far on the other side of the world and what's happening in our backyard. To the way that our brain is taking in this information and it's being digested in our body, it might as well be happening in our backyard because that's how our brain kind of makes sense of it. So when you are in a dysregulated state, your energy gets zapped. It's just emotionally draining. And I could feel it. And my nanny leaves, Brian's gone. I walk into our living room and our back door's open. And I'm already on edge. So I'm instantly like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. Like, what's going on? Ellie was sleeping. She was in her bed. And that already freaks me out. So then my system's even more on high alert. And I'm walking towards my bedroom and I hear this like hitting sound. It's hitting. What is that noise? So instantly, I think someone's in the house. The door's open. There's this weird noise coming from one of the rooms. And I instantly go into, okay, I got to grab Ellie. I have to have this exit strategy. And my system was high alert and I was ready to go. Right. I take a deep breath. I'm like, all right, let's just see what's going on with this noise. And I poke my head into the room, and there is a balloon that's hitting the ceiling from the fan. And the door was open because Benji was outside and he opened it with his snoot and came inside. And because I was on high alert, I didn't have any access to my rational thinking because when stress is high, intelligence is low. You can't have your higher thinking and your primitive brain on at the same time. Call it the monkey mind. So the monkey mind was like, we got to get out of here. This is dangerous. And I went into this whole exit strategy. And then I was able to have enough cognitive awareness to slow down my breath, to get into a balanced state so I could check out what was going on. And it was a balloon. And I'm sharing this because this is what's happening to us all the time, not just when there is a war. This is happening all the time. And when we're consuming a lot of news and when we are perceiving different situations in our life as a threat, our system gets overloaded. It gets overloaded. So my system was 100% dysregulated. And one of the key things that I've been learning is how to create safety in my body. And this is empirical safety. So, this is being able to look in your environment and be aware that you are in this moment safe. And safety is key because we thrive when we know that we are taken care of. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because all of the stuff that's happening in the world, if you're consuming a lot of this information, it's very normal to feel unsafe. So, the first thing that I want to walk you through today is helping you establish safety. And that means that you are safe where you are in this moment in time. Now, it might not feel safe in your body, right? You might be feeling tension and stress, but being able to look around in your environment and say, is there war happening in my environment? And being like, no, that's not actually happening. So the first is showing your system that you are indeed safe. And so the way that I do this with myself and the way that I do this with my clients is I help them orient. And all that orientating is sitting in your environment and looking around up and down at the ceiling, looking behind you, looking to the ground, to show your system that you're safe. It's more than just saying cognitively, because in your brain, you're not safe. You have to show it with your eyes. You have to show it in your environment. And that's the first thing to establish safety, is to orient in your space. And so that is what I do with myself when I'm feeling unsafe. And this is what I do with my clients before we even start a session. I have them look around up and down in the ceiling and help them establish that they are safe in their environment. Then I help them get into their body. So I help them see what the sensations are, like what is happening in your body, not the feeling, but the sensation. So the tension, the stress, the clenching, all of that is the sensation. And that is showing you where the fear is, where you do not feel safe. So being able to get into your body, check in with the sensations, and then being able to relax your body. And that's why the breath is so powerful, because your breath is the only thing in your autonomic nervous system that you have control over. So being able to slow your breathing down, to down regulate, helps turn on your higher brain, turn off that lower brain, the monkey brain, the survival brain, to actually be like, okay, what's actually going on? And so that's what I did. I slowed down my breath. I did 5 minutes of balanced breathing where I just did in and out for 4 counts in, 4 counts out. And it was kind of creating this cycle. It was almost like flowing in and out. I could feel this energy moving through me. And then I went into a down regulating breath. So the exhale was longer. It was a longer exhalation. Once you feel more centered, then you can get into your higher thinking. Now, this isn't just to snap your fingers and you're good. It kind of depends on how much of that sympathetic energy that you have, that stress energy. So if you're really heightened, it might take a couple of rounds for your breathing to get back into your body, into a place of grounded, anchored safety. So don't think that if you do it once and it doesn't work, that it doesn't work for you. Trust me, it will work for you. You just have to continue to do those 3 steps over and over until you feel more centered, grounded, more calm. Okay. And so then from there, what's really important is to acknowledge and validate what you are feeling. There is no way you should or shouldn't feel. So please do not should on yourself. Allow all of your feelings to be there and acknowledge them. They are real and they are valid. But what's really important to know about your emotions is that they are fluid and they are temporary, the good ones and the bad ones. And my job as a coach is to be a witness to you having your emotional experience. This is so important, to have someone else with you when you are experiencing heightened emotion, because if you don't and it doesn't feel safe, then the emotions get trapped and stored in our bodies. So the first thing, after you get to a centered place, after you regulate your nervous system, getting into a centered, grounded place, creating safety, you want to normalize your feeling. Of course, you're feeling this way. There is a lot of hard things that are happening in this world, and we have so much access to it. The division is real. It is scary what's happening. And these feelings are 100% valid. All of this human suffering, all the civilians suffering, the children, the women, these innocent families on both sides, whatever you are feeling, you are not alone in thinking and feeling this way. This is our common humanity. This is what connects us all. Nothing is wrong with you if you've been feeling this weight of the world. This is just what it is to be a human. So, whatever it is that you're feeling, whether you feel numb or you feel like you have these heightened emotions, none of it is wrong. I just want to normalize that for you. And then the next thing is just give yourself permission to feel. This is probably the hardest, and it's hard to do by yourself. So if you're having a hard time, make sure that you connect with someone that can just hold the space for you, that you trust and that you feel safe with. This is deliberately just allowing whatever to come up to come up. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. And the more that you can do it, the less scary it will seem to feel those emotions. Now, this is a very simple way of processing how you're feeling about the state of the world, but this is also to anything and everything that's happening in our life. Now, it's really important not to judge yourself through this process and to have a ton of compassion and curiosity as you explore your emotions. After you process and feel, just asking yourself, what feels good to you? What does your body need? What feels comforting? And listen, if you feel exhausted right now, you're not alone. And it's because your body is working on overtime to try to keep you safe. And so remember the episode that I recorded a couple weeks ago about staying informed, but also taking care of yourself. This is a part of it. This is a part of it. Giving yourself time to process and feel, giving yourself time away from the media, from the news, being intentional about what you consume and when you consume it. Because if you want to make a difference, if you want to help create peace, if you want to help people that are suffering, you cannot do it from a dysregulated state. You cannot do it from a dysregulated state. You have to maintain your emotional regulation. And if you don't, that's okay. Give yourself the space to process and feel and get back into alignment in your body, regulate. Now, the reason why this is so important is because safety is essential for our emotional well-being. It is the foundation of all forms of healing and growth. No matter what we're experiencing, our survival mechanisms are always at play. No one is immune to it. They are always going to be firing because that is how we've evolved as a species. So being able to have these tools are so important because it's never going to be like, oh, my survival brain is just going to it's going to take the back seat. It's always going to take the front seat. It's always going to be the first line of defense. And your higher brain is always going to be the last. It's always going to be the last. It goes through this order on purpose because this is how we've evolved. So just know that this is always going to be at play. And being able to heal and be able to grow and to have change happen, the foundation of safety must be established. And your environment has so much to do with it. If your environment doesn't feel safe, you will automatically go in the defensive mode. And that also includes what you are consuming daily. So when you feel safe in your body, and maybe safe doesn't resonate with you, maybe it's grounded, but when you are feeling in your body and you're able to respond to things versus react, your thinking and language skills are online. your cognitive function and your ability to articulate your thoughts and your feelings are great. Have you ever noticed when you're stressed out, you like can't find the words? It's because when stress is high, intelligence is low. So when you feel safe, you'll know you're safe because you're able to articulate in a clear way. When you feel safe, you can also increase your ability to connect. So you enhance your relationships due to safety, not disconnect from them. And right now, there's this division happening in our world, and we are starting to feel really disconnected and really unsafe. So that's why creating safety in your body is so key, so you can increase your ability to connect. This also increases your confidence when you are in social settings, when you are having difficult conversations. Safety helps heal and restore your body and allows you to have that actual restful state that your body needs every single day. And then feeling safe allows you to self regulate, right? Your ability to manage your own emotional state and assist others managing theirs. And this is what's so important about what's happening in our world right now is if you are not self-regulated, you will not be able to assist others manage their emotions. And if you are a parent listening to this podcast, your children don't know how to self-regulate yet. So it is imperative that you are self-regulating because you are demonstrating to them how to regulate their emotions through co-regulation. So what I want to talk about now is giving you an opportunity to establish safety. And you can create safety anchors right now in this present moment. And it is incredibly important to do this as soon as you can. So, your safety anchor is your emotional home base. So, for every single person, safety is going to feel different. So, the first thing that I want you to think about is what does safety feel like to you? I know when I feel safe, there's just this like warmth in my chest. My shoulders are relaxed. I'm engaged. I'm connected. I just feel it, mind, body, and spirit. So, first thing, what does safety feel like to you? The next is picking what your anchor is going to be. This is your grounding point. So as soon as you start to get dysregulated, you're going to use your anchor to come back down. So when you notice yourself like kind of leaving your home base, having that anchor. So my anchor is putting my hands on my heart. This is what I do when I start to feel dysregulated. It's really calming. It releases serotonin, it releases the feel good hormones. And I'm like, I'm home. I'm right here. Some people that might not resonate. Something that you can do tactile is maybe touch your elbow, can wiggle your toes in your shoes. Maybe you even touch your ears. Whatever it is that you can do with your hands, tactile, to create this experience of anchoring in your body in the present moment. So your anchor is your fallback point when you start like kind of moving out of regulation into a dysregulated state. And you might want to go explore some of the intense emotions that are coming up. You might want to explore anger, and your body wants to go to anger, and you know that it is, but then you have your anchor to pull you back down when it becomes too much. So the first, understanding what safety feels like in your body, and then choosing your anchor. Now, I should have added that you want to make sure that you are regulated first. So if you're not feeling safe right now, or you're feeling high anxiety, or if you're feeling kind of low and numb, do a couple rounds of box breathing to get you in your body. So box breathing is inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, holding for 4, and doing that for 5 minutes. And that will really bring your system back down. So I talked about orienting. I talked about your creating your anchor, and then just checking in and just building awareness to what is happening around you and what's happening inside of you. This is going to increase your capacity to handle adversity, to handle hard things, and ultimately build your emotional resilience. this is so incredibly important and it feels very fitting for right now. It has been so helpful for me this past couple of weeks. And it's not a one-time event. I need to be clear on this. It's not like, okay, I'm oriented and I'm safe. You need to be doing this a couple times a day. The more awareness you have to your body, the more awareness you'll have to when you get dysregulated. And the more you can do this, the better off it will be. So I hope that you found this episode helpful. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. This is what I help my clients with. I help them create this space in their body that they learn how to respond to life versus react. If you're having a hard time with the state of the world and this global crisis, please reach out to me. I do this work on myself so I can hold this space and co-regulate with my clients, with my community. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope that you found this episode helpful. I am here for you always. I'm here to be a resource. So please let me know if you have any questions. I just want you to know that I am holding you. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about our world. I am praying for peace. I am praying for all of the families that have been affected by this tragedy and all of the human suffering. This is not the only thing that's happening in our world. And this has just been so eye-opening and awakening to how our nervous systems respond to human suffering. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that you got something from this episode. Again, please reach out if you have any questions. I want you to know that you are not alone. You are not alone. Okay, so until next time, remember to love yourself, own your happiness, and let your light shine because you are so worthy of it, my friend. Until next time.